Hello, and how are you today? Today, I wanted to talk about something that I get a lot of questions from my clients about, and it's supplements. There are no letters behind my name, so I'm just going to tell you what I have learned, what I've learned basically from reading a lot. I do a lot of reading about all of this because I find health and wellness very um, I find it really interesting. And what I find even more interesting is what is the science that's coming out every day about things that can help us from osteoporosis and osteopenia to muscle loss to muscle gain to aging and anti-aging. I mean, there's just so much going on out there that's interesting. And I want to share with you today what I know and what I use. So thanks for being here so much. Oh, I get the question frequently from clients, and it's like, well, what should I use if I've got XYZ? And I always tell them, I'm like, you know what? I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a nurse practitioner, but what I am is a student. And the truth is, I was a really bad student when I was a kid, like bad student. But I have made up for it the last few years because I really, really dive into and geek out on all the books that are out there, all the studies that are out there about what we can do now to help ourselves with supplementation. Okay. And supplementation is not for everybody. Okay. It wasn't for me. It was not for me until just a few short years ago. I always thought that what I did for like my nutrition was a good thing. I ate lots of pasta, did lots of exercise, didn't eat any animal products, and I just assumed that that was the right thing for my body. And it probably worked really well for me when I was younger. Didn't work so well for me after, I don't know, call it, after about 45. I noticed I started seeing some changes in my body that I didn't like, and I wasn't really sure what was going on. Um, and it wasn't just like menopause, it was just like stuff. And what I came to understand is that there's a lot of things that our bodies change as we grow up. How about if I put it that way? I don't like the word as we age, but as we grow up, our bodies do change. Um, we need less calories. Ah, banish that thought. Banish that thought. I mean, I love to eat. I do, and the idea that no matter what I do, and all the exercise I do, I should be more cognizant of my calories just stinks, quite frankly. Um, we need more more protein, and we desire less protein. Women need more protein as we get a little bit older, and we have less of a desire for it. So it's a mix, right? It's not a good match. And there's a lot of stuff that goes on. But what I wanted to talk about today was just some of the supplementation that I use and why. I will tell you that every one of these products, they all sponsor me. Okay, so these are companies that sponsor me, but I actually reached out to most of them after going through learning about their company, learning about their products, and really, really studying what they're doing and deciding that yes, they were the right fit for me. So I want to start with the first one is, or the first two actually, are proteins, right? Just protein supplementation. Years ago, if I got, oh my gosh, if I got 30 grams of protein in a day, it was damn good. Like, really, like, I'm not even sure where it came from. Um, these days, eh, I don't know, if you look at the numbers, I mean, all the different numbers out there, people tell me I should be hitting something like 30 grams of protein a day. I don't. Okay, I don't. Like one day in a million I do, but I would say that I am very close to 100 in a day. I'm happy with that. That's all that's going to happen. And um, I'm vegetarian, so that's, doing that is a thing. The way I get there is with protein supplements. Okay. First one I use is Naked Goat. I fought this for a long time because I do tend to not use animal products, and this is a goat whey. It's made from goat milk. But I will tell you that if you start looking into proteins and supplementation, goat whey protein is supposed to be one of the most easily digestible and readily absorbed proteins out there. So naked goat, I like naked goat because, my gosh, if I am going to have a product that comes from an animal, I'm going to make sure those goats are happy. I think these goats are living a pretty good life. So naked goat. And okay, there's more to that. The second half of that is that when any of us, especially for me, when you're going to have a product that is, it's an animal, it's a protein, or it's a plant, it's whatever, the healthiest you can have is the best you can have. Okay. It's like if you can buy organic, and used to be the thing people said, well, organic was super expensive. I've been looking at prices lately, y'all, just comparing, and I'm not seeing a huge difference in organic when it comes to most things, vegetables, some of the ways, things like that. If you can buy organic, it's better for the animals, it's better for you, it's better for the world. So there you go. There's my organic plug for the day, but it's true. Like think about it. It should be one of those things that we pay attention to when we're out there consuming in the world. The next thing I do is I do use Vega, and Vega is a pea protein, like PEA protein, and I kind of mix and match with the goat protein. Vega I've used since I finally decided to get in the protein bandwagon, probably 3 or 4 years ago. The next thing I use Amino Co. Okay, it is branch chain aminos. I did an episode back. It was episode number 180 with the owner, or the founder, I'm sorry, of AminoCo.com. And it was it was one of those fascinating, at least to me, and to a lot of other people, because I got a lot of comments back about that particular interview. I learned a lot, learned more than I knew going into it, for sure. And I also learned that we need this, especially women, as we get a little bit older, because those branch chain aminos really help us build the muscle and not have the muscle loss or the bone loss. Okay, they do other things too. I'm just going to send you straight, all of this information is going to be in the show notes. I'm going to send you straight to the show notes and onto their website, because I want you to read their science, not me, me sprouting out what they say about what you should be doing. But here's where it came about. I started using it when I knew that I was going to be basically 4, 5, 6, turned into 6 months of relatively low activity. Okay. Last year had a few things happen, relatively low activity for 6 months, which took away from my ability to do resistance training and to do the training that I normally did. So I started using their product called Heal. Heal was designed for people who were recovering from injury. I went on to use their product called Life, which is their branch chain amino, and have been using it since. Okay, so that is the next one that I would use. I also use Perform. Perform I treat it more like my electrolyte. So I use these things. I use them intermittently. I do not use Perform every day. I use it when I'm going to be exercising. So that's what I use with that. And you can go back and listen to episode 180. It was a very, very interesting episode, and we will link to it in the show notes. I also take a multivitamin, not every day. I probably, you're going to say, what should you take every day? It's probably the multivitamin. I don't take it every day. I take it about 4 times a week. It's called Athletic Greens, and it's just a powder. I chunk it in my smoothie when I'm making my protein shake, and like I said, about 4 times a week. So I use Athletic Greens. And the reason I use that one is when you look at the ingredients, There's a lot of good stuff that goes into this. It's high quality and it's covering a lot of the bases. Okay, a lot of the bases. The next thing I use is AlgaeCal. Okay, AlgaeCal, and if you're watching on the video, you can maybe read that AlgaeCal Plus. I've got bone loss. There you go. Doesn't matter that I've lifted weights my entire life. I have bone loss, so I am determined to turn it around. AlgaeCal promises, guarantees that if you take their supplement consistently for 6 months, you're going to actually have a better DEXA scan. You're going to show bone growth. And if you don't, money back. End of story. I thought that's what got me starting to take this. Okay. I thought, wow, that's a pretty darn good guarantee. What they say, and I will just say this, and then it's up to you to decide if this is correct or not. But according to their company, rock-based calcium only can slow bone loss. But their plant-based calcium, which is based on algae and other plant pieces, can actually stop bone loss and build new bone. So that's where I'm going, and that's my plan. I plan on having another DEXA scan. Where are we? I'll probably have it in June, so I'll be able to actually report back to everybody. Did it work? So I take AlgaeCal Plus. It is the calcium. It also is another strontium. Read up on it. Some people are like, oh my gosh, strontium is the devil. Some people are like, oh my gosh, strontium is the angel, guardian angel of life. I did a lot of research. Personally, I'm totally comfortable taking it, but you should look into it. Okay, so I take that. The next thing I take is something called NoVos. Okay, NoVos NoVos comes in two forms. One of them, if you're watching the video, I'm going to show you my box. You can't read anything that says on the box. So basically what NoVos is it is designed to slow aging. It's designed to slow the aging process, okay? And NoVos has something very interesting that you can try. They have a test called NoVos Age. And what it does is it's testing 3 things on biological age. Okay, there's some really good tests out there these days. It's not the old, make-believe stuff. There's really good testing that you can do. This is not, the testing isn't cheap, but it's not ridiculous. Like, I don't know, NoVos Age, I think, was a couple $100. Some of the other tests go up at $400. Some of them are less. So it's not a cheap thing to do. But what you can do, like, I love data. Okay, you wouldn't know that. You wouldn't know that to know me, but I do, right? Like I like really being able to compare apples to apples. So if, like the DEXA scan, you take a DEXA scan, you take a supplement, and then 6 months later you see a difference, then you can look at what you've done, and you can see maybe and I'm using the DEXA scan as an example, but maybe if you took the calcium, took the strontium, and lifted weights, you wouldn't know which one of those made things better. But in my world, does it matter on that one? No, it doesn't matter, because all those things are going to improve your health, right? So that's one data set. In NoVos, with NoVos Aging, what you can do is you can use their NoVos Age or one of the other ones that are out there. They're going to look at a few things. They're looking at basically Columbia University and Duke University designed this. Okay, it's the primary rate of aging. So you're looking at your epigenetic clock, like how old do you look at a cellular level? Then the next piece they look at is your biological age. How is that? How are you? What age are you really? Right? What age is your body? And then the next thing they look at is your telomere length, which is protecting your DNA. Your telomeres shorten with age. Your telomeres can also increase. So you can increase your telomeres. So you're looking at all these things. You do the test. You do all the things that we're talking about all the time, all the things, right? We sleep better, we exercise more, take the fuel that we know is the right stuff for us. Then you do the test in a year and see, did things change? I find that really fascinating because I want to know, like, I mean, I know how I feel, but sometimes data makes you just go, oh yeah, see, it really is working. It's like when I talked about using the Aura Ring. It's I know how I feel when I wake up, but when you can see the data and the data says, wow, you know, you're on a streak. You've had 20 days over 90. That's that says that you're doing something right. I like numbers, simple numbers. I'm not going to dive deep, but I want to know like the simple stuff. So NoVos, what it does is it works on cellular aging. And they also have another product, which is NoVos Boost, which is NMN. And read about it, okay? I'm not going to say you should take it or you shouldn't take it, but there's a lot of science out there that says, hey, this might help. So let me just run back through them really quick. These are the things that I take. These are the things I recommend to clients. There are some other things that I've tried that I don't recommend. Like, I just don't recommend. But I'll run through these again really quick for you. One of them is your protein. You need it. Sorry, Kelly. I didn't want to believe it either. So we need some protein. Naked goat is the best way that I found. And then Vega is the best vegan pea protein that I've found. Amino Co has some great products. I use Life, which is their product for reversing age loss or muscle loss. I'd love to reverse some age loss, reversing muscle loss. And then if you catch yourself having surgery and having to recover, or having an injury and having to recover, then Heal is the right product for that. The next one is AlgaeCal. AlgaeCal Plus it's calcium. It comes from plant-based. And if you are up for it, strontium also. Strontium is one of those things that has been shown to increase bone mass too. And then the last one is NoVos. So there you go. Those are that's what I put in my stomach. Most days I'm not the greatest. I can tell you right away, I'm not the greatest at getting all of these every day. My rule is I do it during the week. During the week, I am on it, as we say in the South, like white on rice. I'm good at it during the week. Even when I travel, I take it with me. During the weekends, I'm not, I'm more hit and miss. Like, I allow myself a lot of flexibility on the weekends because I'm very stringent during the week on most of these things. So that's how I take it. Everyone can do something different. If you do decide to do the age, NoVos age, I'd love to hear. Tell me what's your biological age? Are you happy? Are you like, oh my God, what am I doing? Like, it's interesting. And also when you do a DEXA, the DEXA scan, you probably know this, but just in case you don't know, you can get a DEXA scan without going to the doctor. Like, of course, annuals, you can get a DEXA scan, but you can also get a DEXA scan simply by going online and looking. Off the top of my head, I can't think of the company that I've used in the past. They changed their name. Composition ID, that's what it's called. Composition ID has changed their name, but they have DEXA scans everywhere. It's not expensive. Call it $100. And what you should do, I mean, this is something that I've read again and again, is always go back to the same scanner. Scanners can be different. So if you're going back to the same scanner, once again, coming back to data, it's apples to apples, not apples to oranges. So there you go. I hope this is interesting. All of these are in the show notes. We'll link to them all. We'll probably send an email out with them because I find that this is important stuff, right? I mean, we need our muscle. We do not need muscle loss. We need muscle gain. We need our bones. We do not need bone loss. We need bone gain. So, and we don't need age gain. We need some age loss. So take care of these things. Enjoy it. Let me know if you use them and have a wonderful day. See you later.